Today is October 13th of 25. I think fall has finally fallen. It has descended upon us. It's 68 degrees. It has not got up to 70 for the last 3 days, so it's been cooling down a bit. September was really dry. We got a little bit of rain over the last couple of weeks. The ground's pretty wet right now. This is a Bambusa Alphonsi car. This thing, I planted it last year. It was a little bitty 1 gallon and it came up from Florida. It died to the ground this winter, or so I thought. It totally defoliated, but then all of the aerial stuff that was basically dead sticks, or so I thought, grew new foliage. So it is 8 feet tall, so it has grown quite tremendously because it was only a few feet tall. And like I said, a little bitty 1 gallon when I first planted it. This is my biggest sable miner. Not very big, but the biggest one that I've got. And I'm in my backyard right now, by the way. I haven't done a whole lot back here. I had big plans and a small budget, so those two don't really go together. That's another miner. That's all the miners I've got over here on this side. All the plants I have on that side. There's the big trackie that I got from central North Carolina, from the land of clay soil. There's the Trachelospermum asiaticum that I planted at the foot of it, and it really likes that Trachycarpus core, I guess you would call it. The chickens got into this area and tore up all the stuff that I had planted. Only a few things have survived, so that's a soft caress Mahonia marvel. This poor butia, they got in here. This used to be the biggest butia. They kept jumping onto the fronds and snapping all the fronds off. So it totally defoliated due to them jumping on it. There's a dead needle back there that did not make it through the winter. It was in awful health to begin with. I'm going to turn the camera around because this part of my yard is a disaster. But I've got 4 other plants over here on this side of the yard. Miner, sable miner. Oh yeah, I guess I technically have more plants. Oh, punch, I need to plant. There's another miner. And then this is the Sea Breeze Bambusa. Same deal. I planted it last year, a little bitty 1 gallon from Florida, and it is it would be 9 feet tall if it was standing upright. Same thing, it totally defoliated this past winter. I've been leveling my yard, that's why it's all tore up there. These are those poor acubas that keep getting sunburned, I guess. See that necrosis on them. I finally straightened up this area a bit. This is the largest riverside that I have. It's not huge, but it's not small either. It was 3 feet tall a month ago probably. And then this is the area that has very poor soil, stays very dry. Tetrapanax didn't do a whole lot this year, although it's 3 times the size it was last year. Manahot. This is probably my second biggest miner here. I've been watering these heavily since it's not been raining much. Another miner, needle, and some Spanish moss. Tillandsia usneoides. Very strange species name. There's that little trachea I brought from Washington. This is that same snow and summer sunset jasmine. It's not summer sunset. That's the other riverside. And That's probably the biggest acanthus that I got. I grew those from seed, planted them last year. They grow so slow. Got a bunch of soft caress and loquat. And that's got to be a dwarf banana, because it only got up to like 8 feet tall. It probably should have got taller than that. That's the only one that survived this past winter. Trachea from Washington. Minor. This area, the soil is garbage. Big, tall. Is it pampas grass or elephant grass? I don't remember. It's invasive. Probably shouldn't have it here. This is the biggest butia now. Little Washington trachea. Another little bitty Washington trachea, and I think this one might be a hybrid. It may have some... I had a couple Nanus hybrids. We pulled the dandelion out of the way. The fronds are teeny tiny, and it's got a decent sized trunk. So I'm thinking that might have been one of the Nanus, and I just didn't... or Nanus hybrids, and I just didn't realize it. So that yucca looks pretty good. The opuntia is off the chain. Oh man, the ants have been in here. That Trichocereus grandiflorus hybrid, that's pretty good size now. Or Oreocereus celsianus, this is the only one that made it through the winter. That is the opuntia pumila or pusilla. I've decided I'm gonna let the agaves take over this area, I guess. Have a big agave grove. This aloefolia is just growing like wildfire, and there's so many agave suckers. There's 1, 2, 3. There are more back there. So I thought that was an aloefolia, or I'm sorry, recurvifolia, but Ryan told me it's probably a hybrid. Basilarion. This thing looks like it's getting ready to flush again. Actually, I think all of the decent sized cycads look like that. Poor Jubea did not even put out one full frond, but it put out 4 or 5 partials all at the same time. This is the only field dug trachea that made it of the 4 that I bought. It's the same height as me. I think the trunk doubled in height this year. Sure seems like it did. Poor little needle. Needles are so sad. That Fatsia is 3 times the size that it was when I planted it, or better. There's my Robellini. The Mississippi Mule. I think it was 8 feet tall last time I filmed it. It hasn't gotten that much taller, but just the, like this frond is mostly new-ish. It's so tall. And the trunk is pretty good size. It's over 6 inches tall. I tried to come out here and video yesterday, and it was way too windy. Yeah, I got another minor down here and another Washington trachea. It's really pretty. Persicaria is taking over and falling over. Colocasias are wild. This area finally looks good with all the Tradescantia and the Insete and the Colocasia, and I like these sea lilies. Took the cannas all year to finally do something. I think the Alpinia is finally the same size that it was last year when I dug it up. I split it up into 4 clumps, I think. And then this is the slowest growing Cyagrus in the history of the world, I think. The Alocasia seems like it grows quite a bit slower than the Colocasias. This Dan Hinckley greenform Terrace cretica, which made it through the winter, has just taken over this whole area. This is a Microspadix biradicalis hybrid, and I thought that it had got stepped on and killed, but it's still alive. My Mahonias have all done really well. There's a bunch in town that don't seem to grow quickly at all. This Microspadix finally has one good looking frond. Kind of good looking. And then the other Microspadix by Radicalis hybrids are still pretty small, although that one does have some decent character leaves. So, and then right up behind me there's the kitchen window, so that's kind of the view from the kitchen. Well, we've got warmer weather in store later on this week. At least I hope we do. They're calling for it. So hopefully we're not done growing yet. They did get some frost out in western North Carolina earlier this week, is what I read online, which I guess is not surprising because there are decent sized mountains out there. But anyway, that's all.